Me, Bruno, we can do magical things. Arteta Stein, the boy. Marcel, stop chatting shit, man. You got a rojo. Focus on Liverpool. You're gonna lead
you. People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. DG Nation, let's make sure we're smashing the like button. Happy day. Big up everybody. We're tuned in when all those things. Like, the best intros. Happy Bruno Day, folks, man. People deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Big up you lot around the world. Hope you and your loved ones are doing well and safe. Bruno Guimaraes has been officially confirmed as an Arsenal player. I feel excluding the need to buy another defender because I think we needed a right back anyways going into this pre-season ahead of new season. Obviously, with what's going on with Saliba, but excluding that, if you split our team into 3 units, defense is sorted. Midfield is sorted. I think midfield is more of a case of Mikel Arteta. You got the ingredients. You need to, can you cook some oxtail and curry goat there? Attack for a difference of reasons, people. Some people, it's down to injuries. Some it's, are they good enough? Do we know what we can get on a consistent basis, etc., etc.? And football's a weird game, but it's decided in both ends. And our attack, I know we got 121 goals last season and things like that, but it's another season of, we know we will score, but who will get the goals? Our defense is spot on. And as much as it's decided and football's decisive in both ends of the pitch, it's played in the midfield on the best of days. Typically, you're going against 3-man midfields. I would actually argue that's actually false because all the wide men are kind of narrow. You got strikers dropping into midfield, and everybody's got some level of an inverted fullback, whether that's from start to finish or both sides, etc., etc. So yeah, man, Bruno, big signing, man. Premier League proven, 28 here for now, can give us a number of years, at his peak. Everybody else at this football team has a Premier League trophy. He doesn't, so there's that burning desire. I've done a tactical analysis video on Bruno. I don't want to keep regurgitating the same things. I probably will nonetheless, people, but can we please make sure we're smashing the like button before we read what Bruno said and all the tabs, people. Tab police, look away now, people. The total disrespect on Zolis. I don't know what you're commenting on my YouTube channel. Here goes Giddy FC, Bruno Meady signing, nothing to scream and shout about. He's past his best, give his best years to Newcastle. He got fleeced. He's 28. By that logic, Man United wouldn't have signed Van Persie. But that just sounds like sour grapes, if I'm completely honest with you. You lot gave Mohamed Salah the bag the minute he could get out. No one, but gun to your head, Marcel, can you spell Transanspor or whatever the team is? Salah couldn't even get out of there. He didn't even care about the Saudi bag. It is what it is. Our attack can be dead food, but what's more dead food? We got 100 and this dead midfield, this dead attack, somehow won the Premier League. You lot spent how much on Hugo Ekitike, how much on Florian Wirtz, how much on Isaac. You're getting Bacola and you know he's going to be dead. What are you rising up? And if it is dead food, granted, Arsenal do need to improve. But what's more meaty, Liverpool's defense or our attack? What's closer to being better? What's easier to fix? Marcel, like you can see in your display picture, put the Ray and F down. You're drinking moonshine, man. That can't be Ray and F, man. That can't be Ray and F. But yeah, he's our favorite pussy on this chat. Please make sure you're smashing the like button. Jerry said, where's Vinny? You know you can't run that with me because I wasn't saying we're going to get Vinny. But you're right. Where's Vinny? Marcel, where's your girlfriend? Jerry, where's your hairline? Yeah? You're coming for me? Yeah? I got my guns. Yeah? I got my guns. Got my guns. Too many ups in the chat. This is why the man are obsessed. They're obsessed with my football club. Arteta breathes. We bring out new merchandise. We win the league. There's bare chattings. But you know how it goes. Winners focus on winning. If I was like them crying over post-slot errors where Marcel and Liverpool's concerned, it's been 13, 14 years for Man Divided fans, I might be like that. But you know what? Winners focus on winning, man. They hate us because they hate us. Corner boys in the building. A's to be free. Jerry, big up yourself, man. Just shut your mouth, though, man. I would have enjoyed the Bruno deal more if we had the left winger signed. We got Zolis, man. The coldest is where it is. Big up yourself, Karma. Bruno will start the season until Rice is fully fit. The centre mids pairings are very interesting, people. Very, very, very interesting because we don't know. Is it going to be Rice and Zubimendi? Statistically, that was our first choice. Is it going to be Miles Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice? As you said, rightly so, to start the season, Zubimendi and Rice, to our knowledge, haven't returned back to training in any capacity. So you'd assume Lewis-Skelly and Bruno would be the starters. Who knows, man? These are the problems we want. Like, granted, there are going to be conversations about how do you play, who's going to get enough game time. Me personally, I think Arsenal fans will probably focus that more to Lewis Skelly. You know, he got a run in towards the end of the season. For me, and this is probably from someone who gasses up Zubimendi the most, I think it might be Zubi. I've got two hot takes. I think Zubi could cut out to Spain next season, well, following the end of this year. And I think Zubi might play right back in terms of the Mikel Arteta madman stuff. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly is cool, but we need these problems. If we assume one of Eze, Odegaard, or whoever is going to play in that 8.5, 10 role, and you've got that pivot, that means we've got 4 people competing for that. Yes, I know Kai can play in midfield, lol, Marino can play in midfield, but primarily it is going to be Lewis-Skelly, Rice, Zubimendi, and Bruno. What I would say is, the numbers are not good, innit? There's 4 of you, there's 2 positions, which is great for us as a collective squad. Make sure Mikel Arteta can't leave you out. And we finally got it sorted, man. We've got several ingredients. They all can play sixes. You know, Rice doesn't play the 6 role how Zubi plays it. Zubi don't play it how Bruno plays it. Lewis Skelly could whatever. And I want to get, if I'm honest, I do want to get away from this 8s and 6s kind of chat. Of course, if you're more of an attacking central midfielder, or you're better in the final third, the defensive third, whether that's sweeping up or receiving it off the centre halves and connecting the other teammates into the game. Of course, those strengths, but everyone's got to do a bit of both. And it'd be even interesting to see exactly what Rice and Bruno G, what is actually going to happen there, because you would imagine, you know, Bruno's better in the final third than Rice. Bruno, go do your thing. Rice, stay back. But maybe Mikel Arteta, you know, in terms of build-up play and all that kind of jazz, Bruno could be the deepest. And while, you know, Rice is never going to be amazing at box crashing and stuff, we have seen those aspects in his game. What could happen there, man? And you know what? There's so much things we could do. We'll be here all day, yeah. But just to paint a picture, I was sat here this morning, just, you know, in my Football Manager bag, just like, what could we do in midfield? Like, could you have Rice in the 6, MLS and Bruno as rotating 8s? You know, obviously you could have any denominations there. There's so many things you could do. Games where dominating possession, I can't lie. On paper, Lewis Skelly start left back, and then obviously let's just put Zubi for the culture. You could do cute and clever things. Like, obviously, Miles Lewis, again, games were going to dominate possession. Lewis Skelly on paper is a left back, but if the opposition ain't going to ask us no questions, bro, you can stand there. So, yeah, man, I was playing around with that, of course. And really, I was looking at that with, as I just said there, kind of questioning my own logic in that you would imagine it's Eze, Odegaard, and, you know, any of the denominations that are going to play in that pivot. But who's to say Arteta might say, you know what, Eze, you've been iffy, Odegaard, you've been iffy. I wouldn't call it a flat midfield, but let's tailor it towards the central midfielders, in it, if I'm completely honest. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Marcel's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, you got to sit this one out. You see what I'm saying? Marcel, you're twerking for next man and they're drawing you out, man. Man United signed legless Telemans. Telemans a good signing for 35 million, but we're running rings around them, man, there. But it's an Arsenal stream. Let's focus on this. Bro, man, not worrying about no Liverpool. It's just a bit of banter, man. It's just a bit of banter. DG, your greatest players never had hair. Henri, Wright, Vieira, Bold. I see freeze for life. That's cool, but what are you, Jerry, though? You're not wavy like them. You're not wavy boldness. You're dickhead boldness. Smell like stew, lad. Nah, I love Jerry, man. It's all banter people between me, him, and Marcel. But I know they do piss off people in the chat. Let's remove this and let's get back into what you guys are saying, man. R.I.P. Messi's father. Shit news to hear, man. And condolences with anybody who's lost anybody. What's this comment? Bare tickets dropped to the Community Shield. You go in Cardiff. Oh, it's a shout, you know. It's a shout. I don't know. It's a shout. But can you, like, Manchester City versus anybody, like, in the cup finals? They've only got about 10 fans and a bunch of fans that glory hunted. We actually, you know what? Man City have to praise Arsenal for rebuilding them, because we built them, the cliches, etc. There's a point any decent player went over there. We loaned hella fans there. Boy, plastic, innit? Plastic. It's an outside shout, but what do you think of João Pedro for left wing? He has patience shooting. I love João Pedro, Brazilians, but he's at Chelsea and I'm sure he signed a new deal. That's a myth. August the 8th, 13 days till the first game, and we're still wondering who we are signing in attack. Top 4 FC is 100% back. I have a bit more optimism. We won a bloody league, mate. Like, we won a bloody league, lad. Big up, DJ. I'm so thrilled by the Bruno G signing. He's elite in all concepts of midfield, physicality, shooting, passing, positioning, guile, and never give up attitude warrior like Gyökeres. And even that, he was talking about being a warrior and stuff. That's the stuff I want to hear, man, if I'm honest. I saw a comment about the Arsenal shirts. What do you want me to do, man? Like, this isn't even half the collection. These are just the ones that made the cut, man. Pardon me, allow me. Newcastle tears giving me too much pleasure. It's the journalist for me, man. Big up, DG. Midfield is sorted. If the scouts can sort that left wing, I'd be cozy when the league starts. We're probably going to get another defender, as I wouldn't be surprised. It's all love, man, as Jerry has said, man. If you can't have a laugh and a joke, life is boring, man. I know very few things in life get grown men and grown women like football, but that's tranquillo, man. Just tranquillo. What player in the market would you want for left wing? I don't know, man. No one 100% convinces me, if I'm completely honest. Like, nobody. Out of the guys that, will be linked with, like Nico Williams, Rafael, Nusa, Bacola. Again, asterisk next to Bacola because he's clearly going to go Liverpool unless there's a spanner in that works. Wouldn't mind Bacola. Can't sit here and say I'm 100% convinced. I'm not convinced about Rafael. Ability, you've got all of that. I'm actually not worried about you defensively, even though that is a red flag because you can buy into defending and whatnot. You can be taught to track back and things. You're a good player, but how much of the 38 games in the Premier League are you going to be on it? I would take I would like Nico Williams if I'm honest, but I just think the finances it's not going to make sense based on the alleged price. And I know Nusa and Leipzig have quashed rumors, but based on the alleged price of Nusa for 50, 60 million euros, I'd take a punt. But there ain't really no one, man. We've had years to look at this position. Cool, impossible dream wasn't made possible with Vinicius. The Morgan Rogers thing never happened. You need to rise up something. And as much as I'm saying scouts do their job, and I think it's a cop-out to suggest anything else other than that, unless you're going to go and get these household names, because we are just normal men and women. We're not watching. Our jobs are not to watch not just football, but all aspects of football and scout people numerous times. That's not us. It's them people at the football club. And we didn't wake up this season and say we needed a left winger. We've known that for years. And obviously, in an ideal world, you might have got your Morgan Rogers or your Vinicius, but they had to have been briefed. If that don't happen, where's the other targets, excluding Zolis? Because we was told Zolis does not affect what else we're trying to do in the attacking market. But then, as a football armchair expert, as Marcel said, yeah, you do wonder, like, what's going on with the talent in football? Because I'm even a hypocrite because I think players are there all the time. There's players last year we was waffling about in the 12 months removed from that. This year, there's new players everybody wants. Next year, there'll be new players. But at the same time, yeah, you really look around several leagues and several kind of things. You can't, like, there's no Eden Hazard at Lille. There's no Alexis Sanchez at Udinese. There's none of these kind of, like, guys. There's no Griezmann at Sociedad. You're really scratching your head now. Is that because is that cap? And there might need to be more research from people like myself. Is it because of how the game's gone and inside forwards and what we see in the game of systemic football? I don't know. I can't tell you anything. Nusa is a left wing. Madueke, no, and Product Carla is better than Oni. It's time to play Martinelli through the middle and see how it works and selling Jan. If it doesn't, I can't say I condone that, but I hear it. DG, now Bruno is over the line. What do you think the best midfield combination would be as we have many options? Depends on the game state, man. Because I do think people downplay Zubimendi. I do think we underestimate how good fucking brilliant Miles Lewis-Skelly is. I do think Rice and Bruno's the most complete pairing that we can put together, if I'm brutally honest with you. So, yeah, man. What if signing Bruno G just solved our left wing problem indirectly? How, though? How? Because I understand it, since Xhaka's gone, might be able to get more of a tune, but at the same time, you still need a left winger that's a bad boy, that's going to get goals and assists. Because even in 2022, 23, when Martinelli was great, there were still times we were still criticizing the same things about Martinelli. Obviously, there's systems, there's players that complement each other, but I'm kind of past that. You never know. I'd love it to be right. So, yeah. Yes, DG, we won the Premier League is now the excuse for being super slow. They're just happy to compete and get Champions League qualification. You're fun at parties, man. Damn. Rice anchoring behind Bruno Guimaraes and Odegaard would be an elite midfield. Bro, if Odegaard could get back somewhat to his best, you got Bruno, you got Rice, we could suffocate. I think we've got the best collective options in midfield in the Premier League at this moment. And while Rice and Bruno have never kicked a ball together in theory, I think that's the best partnership of the Premier League. So, yeah, I think our defense or our defensive ethos and how we are as a defensive team, we've been recognized with that. I've said the same about midfield. Some of our individuals in attack could stand up to be some of the better ones in the Premier League, but it's that attack that's lacking. As mad as it is, we did get 121 goals, but it's another year. It's probably been 4 years in a row where we know we're going to score goals, but we just don't know who's going to get them per se. And again, all the attackers had moments, but that level of consistency was lacking. And you could argue there's enough to get another Premier League title over the line, and there'll be hiccups. Where the Champions League's concerned, you need that stardust, innit? If we are selling Martinelli, given the market around us, we should sell him for no less than 70 million. At this moment in time, Martinelli ain't going nowhere, innit? It's another thing if you got Morgan Rogers, who I don't know if that would have banged on a consistent basis left wing. It's another thing if you got Vinicius, but on paper, if you let whatever I think and you think about Martinelli, some of you rate him, some of you don't. If he leaves, we're weaker there. Because on paper, you've got Eze and you've got Zolis and you've got a bunch of other players that could go over there, but we're literally weaker there. So I don't know if they're going to sanction anything. I was more on the hopes and dreams vibe with that take. I hear it, man. I hear it now. Martinelli's not crap. Once you just consider he's a tool in the toolbox. I'd play Bruno as a 10, man, has 5 assists in the World Cup. I watched the first half of AC Milan to see if Leao can convince me, and I can comfortably say, please keep Leao away from my club. Better 876 to the world and back. I do agree in that Bruno starts over Zubi, but you just never know, man. Stranger things have happened in this game that we love called football. So we see what's going on. Since his debut in the competition, and smash the like button, people, where's all them comments? Since his debut in the competition, only 2 players have created a higher share of chances from open play in the Premier League than Bruno. Now, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances. He's probably been one of Newcastle's chief creators on a consistent basis. And there's obviously minutes adjusted, but if you want to see him next to that, if I'm honest, that's another thing I've said. Like, as much as I think he's 28, what you see is what you kind of get. There's no real significant development to be done. I do want to know, and I guess we're going to have to see, what individual plans does Mikel Arteta have for him, and how does that tie into the collective? Because I thought I knew what Declan Rice was about, and we have, what we saw at West Ham is what we're getting, but you're seeing other aspects to his game. Is there scope for that with Bruno? We've got so many midfielders that both TNT and I think I've got another tab here, have actually forgotten some names. Like, they've got Rice, Odegaard, Zubi, Luis Skelly, Marino, Eze, and obviously Guimaraes. And then I think it's here. They've got Guimaraes, Rice, Odegaard, Marino, Zubi, Eze. So we've got so much depth there. Even the people that are making graphics are forgetting. Bruno's officially a gunner, people. And what a picture, man. Big up, Berta. We just move in silence. Oh, my God, there hasn't been a bid, and they're not going to get him in Newcastle. We're not going to sell him after tonight, only in this and that. Shut up, man. Shut up, man. Bruno Guimaraes reveals Declan Rice sent a message prior to his move to Arsenal. Rice sent me a message. Come here and please no more fights. Now we're friends. I was happy he messaged me. The midfield we have, in my point of view, is one of the best in Europe. It is. I don't think we can talk to Barcelona. I don't think we can talk to PSG. Real Madrid, if it clicks their code. But we're in that kind of bracket. I know Chelsea fans probably have something to say. Oh, my God. But they have to do something. Morgan Rogers costs 117 mil. You got Cole Palmer you can play centrally. You got Enzo and Caicedo that probably cost 500 billion quid. But it's about Arsenal, people. Bruno Guimaraes joins Arsenal finally. We love a saga, innit? Like, it's ended positively, but it was dragged out and drawn out, like Eze, like Gyökeres, like Rice, and there's probably some others I'm missing out. But on Arsenal.com, it says, we are delighted to announce that Brazil international Bruno Guimaraes has joined from Newcastle on a long-term contract. Bruno joins us, having established himself as one of the most influential players in the Premier League. The 28-year-old began his professional career in his homeland, making his senior debut for Sao Paulo-based side Audax in 2015 before joining Atletico Paranaense. Allow me. 2 years later, during his time with Atletico, Bruno established himself as one of Brazil's brightest young midfielders. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he was in the Olympic side when Brazil won, helping the club win 4 major trophies before earning a move to French side Lyon in January 2020, when we should have bought him. Across 2 impressive seasons in Liga, Bruno further enhanced his reputation as one of Europe's outstanding midfield talents. Bruno joined Newcastle in January 2022 and went on to make nearly 200 appearances during 4.5 years at St. James's Park, a commanding presence in midfield. He played a pivotal role in Newcastle's League Cup triumph in 2025 and helped the club secure qualification for the Champions League across 2 seasons. An established international, Bruno has made 48 appearances for Brazil and has repped his country on the biggest stages of the game. He was part of the Brazil squad at the recent FIFA World Cup and has also featured in the Copa America. And I mean, he did miss a penalty at the World Cup, so he might be on brand with us, in it. I won a gold medal at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Andrea Berta said, and it's mad. Nobody knows what it said there. Andrea Berta said, nobody's heard this guy speak. We are delighted to welcome Bruno to our club. Bruno is a player with a great mentality and great quality who will bring strong leadership to our squad. With Bruno joining us, we are further strengthening the heart of our team. As we have all seen, Bruno can play as a defensive midfielder and as a box-to-box player. He combines quality with quantity and has provided goals and assists for his team every year. Bruno will allow Mikel to further develop our playing style and will also increase our internal competitiveness, which is essential for maintaining the standards required when we are aiming to win major trophies. We will welcome to the football club, and he'll also wear number 39, people. There was a point I wanted to... Yeah, that's it. When Berta first got the job, did he not try and sign Bruno? And again, one big question is, how does everybody play? I think people are hypocrites because they despite seeing it year in, year out, they do this thing at the start of the season. Like, let's just assume Luis Skelly and Rice play. Luis Skelly and Rice play. Bruno's on the bench and Zubi. 1 game a week. Oh, my God, Zubi needs to leave. Then you see 2 games a week, 3 games in 10 days. The same fans say, that's why you need strength in depth. where we're kind of getting at in that regards, people. So yeah, man, just take time. And we had to have known that you could have three arguably starters competing all together and having to balance that, because Berta tried to get Bruno in 2025. It's out there. It didn't bang. Obviously, we tried to keep Thomas Partey. For argument's sake, if obviously forget the off-field stuff, but if Partey stayed, you've got Zubimendi, you've got Rice, then and you still would have Lewis Kelly, then you've kind of still got this conversation flowing and going, people. So this is what we need, people. I'm ready to be your warrior. Brazicillo, man. I didn't see anything you allegedly did against Jorginho. He's ready to be our warrior and build a legacy after making his move to Arsenal from Newcastle. What has he said? And why haven't seen any like Arteta comments there? Because normally on the first page it says like Arteta, like what Arteta thinks. But nonetheless, or did I miss it out? You know, I don't try and miss anything out. Nah, I didn't. So let's go back over here, people. I'm very excited. I'm at the point of my life where I need a challenge like this. I want to win trophies. I want to make history, and I think I'm in the right place to do it. I'm so excited. And then we've gone over the Rice stuff, but he said apparently Rice texted him, "Come here, please, no fights. We're friends." I was happy he messaged me. In my point of view, the Arsenal midfield is one of the best in Europe. Everyone is an amazing player. Every time when I play against Arsenal, it was tough. They keep the ball, they defend like one. I think that combination is the way I like to play as well. And of course, joining the winners of the league is always a big opportunity. I can't wait till you score at Newcastle away. You know, I got nothing to do with Liverpool, but I'm keen to see Isaac back against Newcastle. And I'm keen to see Bruno. I could pass the ball, run a lot, and play like a warrior. I'll never give up. I'll try to help the team. I'm good with the ball, composed, very calm, and sometimes I can score some goals and hope to make everyone very, very happy here. My brother, I love it. It's massive what I've done so far, but I want more. I want to win for Arsenal. I want to win more trophies in my career. And I think I'm in the right place at my peak at 28 years of age. I'm so excited to join here. Wearing this shirt, you have to go for winning trophies, winning everything we can and make history. I want to put my name in the club's history. You did say that at Newcastle, you did it. Someday when I leave, I want players to come here and say, I want to do exactly what Bruno did for the club. I think it's the best thing that a player can do for the club, create history and inspire the young. He's set to become our 17th Brazilian. 17th. Let me give a go a try to name them. Can we name, don't cheat, people. Can we name all 17 Brazilians? Like Bruno don't count. That's one. Bruno, Gilberto Silva, Denilson. Does Eduardo count, or is it Bandulu because of Croatia? Edu Gaspar, Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Marquinhos, Neto, the goalie. Think, man, try go positions for positions. Julio Baptista, 17 Silvinho. Try go positions. Are you missing any centre halves out? I always think Pablo Mari's Brazilian, but he's Spanish. He just played with David Luiz. I think I got the centre halves. I'm not missing no more goalies. Right back. I feel like I'm missing a right back out. Any wingers? It's not coming to mind. I gave it a good effort, man. Willian, you can't blame me for forgetting him. You can't, but yeah, Willian paced out of my mind. Santos, yeah, you're right. Andre Santos. Oh my God, Gabriel Paulista, the original, the OG. He's not the OG Gabriel, but the OG Gabriel. So yeah, somebody got it there as well. There's 17 of those, so we're definitely missing some. Adam, appreciate you. Rafinha has an 80 million euro release clause. Has the boat passed him though? Yep, DG. Hopefully the players can stay more fresher for the title running and trophy draw. Now there's no excuse, because you know me, I'm not one of them guys yet. I think people want consistency and they want everyone to be rested. You can't just, like, there's 3 games in a week. You got 3 different lineups and all of that stuff. But there's no way around it. Zubi's played more games in his career. Eze's played more games in his career. Saka historically has been running to the ground. Centre halves and obviously Rice. So I'm at the point not to debate who's better out of Lewis Kelly, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Bruno, but that should give you the confidence to mix and blend. A man said, why no Jamaica kit in the background, you fraud, but you got Brazil up there. I can do you one better because I actively wear the Jamaica shirt, mate. I actively wear it, and I've got it. I've got all my shit local, mate. Please, Marcel, please. Say sorry. Send the super chat. Say sorry. Smash the like button, man. Don't ever send for me again and question my what's the word? patronism or whatever the hell is, but love for the super chat. But yeah, what have we missed out? Of course, Gilberto Silva. I love him as a player. I had the opportunity before to talk to Gilberto Silva. I hope I can follow his history here and make myself one of the very good players at Arsenal in history. On the number 39 shirt, it means everything to me. I have the tattoo of 39 as well. My father was a taxi driver in Brazil for more than 20 years. The taxi, of course, gave everything for my family, the place we lived, the food, my clothes, everything. So when I got the chance to sign for a top club in Brazil, I asked my father which number I should take, and he said 39. I was upset a little bit because I wanted to take 97. Why did he want to take 97? He said, no, take 39. The 39 gave you everything. Fair enough, man. Dad knows best on this. When I got to Atletico Paranaense, I went to do a medical, and when I opened my bag, the number 39 was there, and I was very scared. I went to the kit man, and I said, why 39? He said, well, if you don't want it, you can change it. I said, no, it's exactly what I want. At that moment, I called my father, and when I told him the history, he started to cry. I told you this number is going to give you luck. Since then, I've always been 39. Yeah, so yeah, keep that 39 thing at Arsenal. What? Is there any luck for winning the Champions League finally with that? I don't know. The message for me is thank you for everything you have done, all the messages you've gave me. I'm so excited to join you. I'll give you my best. I promise. Like I said, I'm your warrior. I'll never give up. Hopefully, we can create many, many good memories. I'm sold already. I was sold on you already, but we got some guy like Rice's, Lewis Kelly, Bruno, Zubi. You're my guy, man. You stick up for Zubi, but just give Zubi the ball, let him play those pretty passes, innit? We got this. Just imagine we've got Vinicius Jr. as well. But yeah, let's see what's going on here. Shirt collector. Everything is partial to a classic football shirt, but Bruno Guimaraes takes collected to a whole new level. The midfielder posted his collection on Instagram, showing off shirts from across the Premier League, Europe, and beyond. He can now our new jerseys. What? He can now our new jerseys to his prize collection. I don't know. We all know he helped end Newcastle's search for silverware, 70 odd years. He joins an illustrious list of Brazilians. We've had 15 come. So why did it say 17 over there? All right, whatever. Bruno the Spaniard. While Bruno is adding his name to our long list of Brazilians, he could have been joining our Spanish contingent. Despite being born in Rio de Janeiro, Bruno qualified for Spanish citizenship through his grandfather, who moved to Brazil from Spain. So he can speak Spanish? I don't know. Maybe that's something. He's got that Thiago Alcantara stuff. Yeah, we've gone over that. He is a gold medalist winner. So, yeah, I'm sure Gabriel Martinelli was part of this as well, people. Bruno Guimaraes. What's this? So he was a keen swimmer. Right, he's been through a lot, isn't it? Bruno may dominate week in, week out, but when he first started, the Brazilian found it hard to find his mojo. I used to get so worked up the night before football that I'd have stomach pains, why for that, and start throwing up. I'd get a headache and a fever sometimes and wouldn't be able to fall asleep. When I played, instead of playing free, I worried about messing up, and then there was his coach told him to get over that. So, yeah, good and bad moments in his career. He's made sacrifices. Big him up for that. He's won in his homeland. He's helped Newcastle he's played in the Champions League a couple of times. Bruno is well accustomed to facing Arsenal, bro. I can't lie, there's been some dark times we've got Newcastle, not in recent years, but yeah. In doing so, Bruno becomes the 38th Premier League player to play against us before joining and becoming an Arsenal player. Since Mikel Arteta arrived at the club, he has signed 19 Premier League players who previously turned out against Arsenal. In his spare time, Bruno has a few hobbies, including going fishing with his friends. Fishing is funny enough. It's quite peaceful, you know. Like, it's actually wavy. 13 facts you need to know. So excited. I've got it up there already. Craig Hope. I love these Newcastle journalists, mate. He has been speaking. Newcastle lost more than a midfielder. And bearing in mind, anything he's saying Newcastle have lost, we've gained. Newcastle have lost more than a midfielder in Bruno G. He was the driving force on the pitch and the emotional leader of it. He was as unique a footballer as I've come across. Because of that, he's irreplaceable. He gave 4.5 years of incredible effort and quality. Given that, he deserved the chance to move on, even if it makes Newcastle infinitely weaker. The challenge now is to find a way to win matches without him, and also ask why he wanted to go. Newcastle 2.0 needs to confront some of these reasons, while 1.0 has to come to an end. That's a cool story, man. You lot fixed out. We're just going to try and win the Premier League. Now, let's see what the Athletic has said. Inside Bruno G's 75 million transfer, the move Newcastle didn't want, but Arsenal couldn't ignore. Bruno Guimaraes is finally an Arsenal player. For Newcastle United, this was never a sell they wanted to make. For Arsenal, it became the move they could no longer ignore. In January 2022, Arsenal had the chance to sign the Brazilian from Lyon. And again, we've been on YouTube that long, because I remember we were all vexed at Edu for that nonsense, not bringing him to the carpet. But bygones be bygones. Had the chance to sign the Brazilian from Lyon. Edu, their technical director at the time, and executive vice chair Tim Lewis thrashed out a deal for the then 24-year-old, only for Mikel Arteta to decide against the move, unconvinced he was the right fit for the squad he was building. I can't lie, Edu, Tim Lewis, I take that back. Arteta, I'm vexed at you then, it's all worked out, but why did you veto that? Because there are some people that say, oh, it's not Arteta's fault, he didn't get the players. Fair play. He's not always right. Newcastle seized the opportunity in that same window, instead acquiring a player who'd become their captain, talisman, and one of the Premier League's outstanding midfielders. 4.5 years on, Arsenal have got their man. On Saturday, they confirmed Guimaraes had signed a 4-year deal with the option of a further 12 months, obviously 75 million, with no performance-related add-ons. Although Lyon and Guimaraes' former clubs in Brazil will receive parts of the fee, brings one of the summer's longest-running transfer sagas to an end. It also closes the loop on a decision Arsenal walked away from. Arteta's admiration for the player, having grown through years of watching him thrive and often clash with his side in some of the Premier League's fiercest recent contexts, Guimaraes told the club media that after those years of hard-fought battles, Declan Rice had sent him a message saying, come here and please no more, now we're friends. Arsenal entered the window with central midfield a clear priority. You lot told me we didn't need one. I was right. You was wrong. They're expected to lose Norgard, who's obviously gone to Everton. They were interested in Guimaraes' then Newcastle teammate Sandro Tonali. And you'd imagine off the pitch, them two will link up. They're both local in London, but were put off by the cost of any potential package. Tonali ultimately joined Tottenham Hotspur for 100 million. With Tonali out of reach, Guimaraes became the clear preferred target to upgrade the midfield. Despite his initial reservations back in 2022, the Arsenal manager was persuaded by his performances with Newcastle and Brazil across the intervening seasons. Arteta and Arsenal's director, Andrea Berta, viewed Guimaraes as a very complete midfielder whose ability to play as a number 6 or 8 unlocks a variety of combinations in the centre of the pitch. His passing ability in particular could add another dimension to Arsenal's attacking play. Guimaraes, who will be 29 in November, is a little outside of Arsenal's typical recruitment range. They feel his experience and leadership qualities are assets. However, they have already sold Leandro Trossard, 31, and Norgard, 32 this summer. 29-year-old Gabriel Jesus is also available for transfer. Mikel Merino, is currently Arsenal's oldest outfield player, and the squad, as currently constructed, can absorb the addition of an older player. In fact, Arteta and company believe it may be necessary so the Premier League champions can keep winning. So I do think that means Kepa's our oldest player overall. Obviously, Mikel Merino is our oldest player outfield. So yeah, people. There was, however, a challenge. While the sales of Tonali and Gordon this summer had been anticipated, even planned, Newcastle had no intention of parting with Guimaraes. When Arsenal knock, it's different, bro. We don't care. Arsenal had no issue agreeing personal terms with the player. He was adamant throughout that he wanted to join them and play for Arteta, but closing a deal between the clubs would prove more difficult. Their stance was that Guimaraes meant far more to Newcastle, to the fans, to the club, to the community than he would to Arsenal. Selling him they insisted, required an amount of money described as irrational by one person, where Arsenal prepared to be irrational. With the Tonali fee having established a precedent, Newcastle's early position was that it would require a bid of at least 100 mil to even open up conversation. That worked out, didn't it? Much of the brokering was done through others rather than direct dialogue between the clubs. Instead of Berta, it was intermediary Kai Jarupkin, who allegedly is an Arsenal fan, who handled a lot of the day-to-day negotiating. This approach frustrated some at Newcastle, who felt Arsenal were too distant throughout the process. Weeks would pass without substantive contact, even as speculation claims and counterclaims circulated elsewhere. It became, I can't say that word, irrational. I don't know, people. While Arsenal's pursuit of Guimaraes was an open secret in football, Newcastle were adamant not to appear willing sellers. Arsenal, meanwhile, were content to play the long game, believing that as long as the summer wore on and Guimaraes' desire to leave became harder to ignore, Newcastle's position would soften. That said, they did come forward with several bids for Guimaraes. Their initial offer in June was 45 million. Newcastle's then head coach Eddie Howe had been pessimistic about the chances of retaining the player from the moment reports of Arsenal's interest emerged. He had a close bond with his captain and had spoken to him throughout his time with Brazil at the World Cup. Howe's reaction was one of resignation rather than resentment. According to sources close to the situation, he understood why Guimaraes would want to join Arsenal and recognized that Newcastle could not compete financially with Europe's biggest clubs. The 28-year-old was already Newcastle's highest earner, so a renewal was not on the agenda for either the player or the club. And that's where, when you remove, because I think there's some fair points, I feel, when you look at it without the fact of Eddie Howe's gone, the rebuild, other players leaving, what he means to the fans and the club, what he is, arguably whatever money you get for him, can you get like for like replacement? When you get beyond all of that and you look at it, Newcastle, this was the best time to sell because you're gonna have to give him like. This is where football gets a bit muddy because people could call Bruno a Judas. He's got 2 years left on his deal, right? If he chose to not go to Arsenal, not go to elsewhere, within the next 12 to 18 months, Newcastle have to give him a deal. He's already the highest earners. Typically, it'd be a show of loyalty to give him a bit more cash in it. So there was also that. Also, he's got 2 years left on his deal. So I won't say Newcastle are happy, but you got 75 million for a 28 turning 29-year-old. We've got a level raiser. Bruno's happy. It is what it is, people. So yeah, man, I think that's just what I wanted to say as well. So yeah, they would have had to deal with a new contract. After a bruising 2025-26 season and a difficult summer, Guimaraes' desire to leave represented something of a tipping point. Shortly after it became clear the midfielder's head had been turned, Howe informed Newcastle's hierarchy that he wished to step down after 5 years as coach. As Guimaraes returned to Tyneside after the post-World Cup break drew closer, the pressure on all parties intensified. At Newcastle, there was growing acceptance he was unsettled and that the situation verged on untenable. Guimaraes was given the option of travelling back to England to then fly with the Newcastle squad to La Manga's training camp. Instead, he flew directly to Spain on Monday, August the 3rd, where the deal entered its decisive phase. Behind the scenes, Newcastle sought clarity. As Bruno Guimaraes' departure began to feel increasingly inevitable, a senior club executive contacted an Arsenal counterpart directly in an attempt to establish where the North London clubs stood. There was a desire at St. James's Park to bring what one person described as a melodrama of the saga to a close. Arsenal hoped to conclude a deal for around 65 million, so we had to overpay by about 10 odd million quid then. But Newcastle held firm. Club sources insist 75 million was always the minimum figure that would persuade them to sell their captain. And with the two clubs compromised on that figure, it's a straight fee, no add-ons. Lyon, Guimaraes' previous club, are entitled to 20% of Newcastle's profit on the midfielder, so will earn 6 to 7 million from the deal. Around 3.75 million will go to the midfielder's other former teams in Brazil in solidarity payments. With a month of the transfer window remaining, Newcastle had deliberately resisted rushing into the market for replacements. By resolving this issue in early August, that's another thing. The longer it drags out, it collapses what else, what you lot are trying to do moving forward. They feel they have avoided the last-minute scramble that followed Isaac's transfer to Liverpool. The 75 million fee is being framed at their end as a record for a midfielder of Guimaraes' age. As one club source put it, we are not pleased with this outcome, but if he was going, this is a good outcome. Fair enough. Guimaraes is understood to have been very emotional as he said farewell to Newcastle players and staff on Wednesday. People inside the club insist he remained professional throughout this process and was keen as far as possible to preserve the relationship he had built with supporters rather than leave under a cloud. But for Newcastle, there was no disguising the sense of loss. They've sold the player they hoped would, as their captain, lead the club's next chapter. Instead, his departure marks the end of the preceding one. Yet with 75 million to reinvest and the window not closing until the 1st, they can do whatever. I just want to see what you're saying about Arsenal. Arsenal, meanwhile, feel they have improved from what was already a position of considerable strength. They hope the signing of Guimaraes will enable them to tighten their grip on the Premier League title they waited 22 years to bring back to North London. This transfer serves as a reminder that in football, first impressions are not always final ones. At one stage, Arsenal looked closely at Guimaraes and decided he was not the answer. 4 years on, they have just made him one of the biggest investments of the Arteta era. Again, this is probably saying the same thing. Apparently, Guimaraes' journey to Arsenal started back in June. He had instructed his agents to find him a new club, and Newcastle were braced for an offer from the Gunners. I just want to see if there's any news in this article that hasn't been missed. Arsenal, they're willing to dig their heels in. Yeah. There was conflict in the media coverage. Even the players were braced for a move. Calafiori asked if it was confirmed. Arsenal wanted to pay a smaller fee for the Brazilians, so we knew that. It's a smart deal with the market, which, as one agent claimed, gone out of control. As the Daily Mail reported last week, even kids as young as 16 are being paid 20 grand a week. Fair play. Rodgers went for 117. So, there ain't really nothing new there, if I'm completely honest. And that's probably the same article. What do you lot make of us being linked with Christian Romero? I think it's 100% bullshit, but Christian Romero is attracting interest from Arsenal. Tottenham are unaware of Arsenal's interest, but would consider any deal to be a non-starter, leaving Atletico Madrid and Inter as likely candidates for a signature. We'd have to overpay for Romero. I don't think he's worth that. For obvious reasons, crossing the divide but from Spurs to Arsenal wouldn't make sense. Although Hand of Arsenal did say the player and his advisors are on it if there was a deal to happen, but it's a myth. From a shit centre-back to someone who's actually good, the king of Brazil, has obviously got the Premier League tattooed on him. Big up Gabriel Magalhaes. Ari talk of Christian Romero and Arsenal. I have had it reiterated to me from a source at Spurs today. They would not entertain selling a player to their North London rivals, as you would expect. Napoli have very strong interest in Gabriel Jesus, with the player open to the move. Arsenal will only entertain proposals worth at least 20 million euros. I'll believe it when I see it if we can get 20 million euros for this youth, but you just never know. Arsenal apparently have not given up hope of signing Emre Konza, but will have to do better than their original offer, believed to be little more than half of Aston Villa's 60 million valuation. It's thought the Villa squad are becoming increasingly resigned to Konza's departure. When you look at Ethan Nwaneri, RB Leipzig are among the clubs interested in signing Ethan Nwaneri. Arsenal are yet to decide if they will sanction a sale, and another loan has not been ruled out. Again, we're being tempted to re-enter the Bacola race. He's going Liverpool. Just charge it to the game, man, if I'm honest. But that is according to the Independent. I don't really believe that, so I'm not going to give time to it. This guy said Arsenal will make an attempt for Kenan Yildiz. A few weeks ago, Juventus responded with a whatever that means. The player is not for sale. The London club will soon present a very high offer for the Turk. Gabriel Jesus, his new agent, met with Napoli today as he also represents manager Massimiliano Allegri. Gabriel is open to the Serie A move. Arsenal will only consider a permanent exit. There are more clubs in the race. Napoli also need exits in brackets Lukaku to leave before bidding. So it seems like there's a lot of dominoes. Hand of Arsenal did say, and it has come to pass, that we would announce the Bruno G signing, and apparently he's already began training. The club is still in the market to reinforce, regardless of if we sign Romero. The player is very open to joining us. Fair enough. Come join the winners. I don't want you. The only reason I would want you is because it bowls piss. We're being linked with Esposito of Inter Milan again, people. He's valued at 73 million. It's nice to get some new names linked. I don't believe that. And maybe the world's resetting, because we'll be here all day talking about the numerous South Americans and Brazilians that used to go Ukraine. Allegedly, Arsenal and Man United scouts have been closely watching Shakhtar Donetsk forward. Boy, this is a mad thing. Kadu Eles, the Sun say that Ilias, the 20-year-old, scored a hat-trick on Monday in a 5-1 win versus, I can't catch a break. Kodriviaka, I don't know, man. He's considered a top prospect. He could be available for 35 million. I ain't seen him play. He's Brazilian. He's over there in Shakhtar. They normally find them guys. I'm expecting, just by the way he looks, I'm seeing tattoos. I'm seeing slit eyebrows. Brazilian. There must be stepovers there. So let's bring him to the carpet, man. But that's not the best way to go about things. But yeah, man, let's see what you lot are saying. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Smash the like button, as Adam is saying. Rice, Eze, Bruno, G midfield. 2 seasons, I watched Odegaard play coward ball. I'm done with him, and I championed him since he was in Madrid. No more. We need a final third playmaker. This is why our strikers stink. Poor service. Bruno played in a flat midfield. We need to stop thinking about a 6 and 8 or 10. All 3 midfielders can do it all now. Kurt means being rudely brief or abrupt in speech. And man, you learned something new. Big up the Twitch gang. Make sure you subscribe with Amazon Prime. V, appreciate you. I never knew what that was. I thought it was a swear word still. Eze prefers cutting in from the left because he's right-footed. The only reason the 10 is on the right-hand side now is because Odegaard is left-footed and prefers cutting in from the right. Konza, no thank you. This guy's tapped. How can you tell your agent to reach out to rival clubs? It's crazy work. Odegaard is worse when he plays deeper. I think that's capped now. I completely disagree with that. If anything, this current day of Odegaard's better there. He needs to be forward passing and pass more direct instead of side and backwards. We have a lot more creativity in midfield now. Our 10 needs to be more of a final third threat. Odegaard would be better in a deeper role, and let Eze, Nwaneri, or even Dalman play 10. I don't think Dalman's ready to play 10, but he's 16 years of age. Go and watch the game against Crystal Palace on the last day of the season. What I would say is, I think the right wing and playing all about thing is for him, but he needs to be given some opportunities naturally to serve his apprenticeship to one day be able to play there, innit? Both Eze and Bruno G can be playmakers, no more passengers. Big up yourself, Hyper. Madrid fans twerking for Zubi is hilarious. They could end up getting him. Rice is a natural 6. He's a destroyer. Bruno should be an 8. Odegaard, Eze is a 10. Is it just me? But we're moving Ethan on with a buyback clause to invest in serious talent. I'm looking at Real Madrid, Endrick, Arda, they're stacked in attack. We could flirt around a couple of those. But apparently Endrick's joining the Premier League team on loan, if you believe current reports. Dropping Rice into the 6 fixes the midfield. Jay, appreciate you. Big up, DG. Your rise is well deserved. We ain't done yet. Appreciate you. You've been a member for 66 months. How many years? That's years, man. Appreciate you. This coach talent idea is utter garbage. Doesn't look at skill at all. Right, you're harsh, man. DG, who is even coming close to Arsenal next season? Not a clue, man. What are your thoughts on the game tomorrow, DG? It needs to be dramatically and levels better than it was against Betis, innit? Every game you have to be a bit more harsher because what? It's showtime next week. This time next week we'll be gearing up for the Community Shield, isn't it? Ross, I wanted Edu sacked for Arteta's decision. I know, you know what, Edu, you done a lot of good because the good that happened during the time, I can't just say it was all Arteta, but we were on you for that. You're gonna have to forgive us, Arteta. Little slap on the wrist, but it's calm now. You was a different guy in 2022 than you are now, man. Bruno has 5 years left in him. He doesn't need pace, just perception and vision to play in midfield. Get Fresneda off a right back since Ben White is pretty much finished after this season. Gyökeres needs serious service. If Bruno allows Odegaard to flow forward instead of playing deep line, then Gyökeres will benefit from it. Noni at left wing, he's looking sharp in the training clips. You look at home. Fuck that, man. God, please, as I stare out this window, please free my Arsenal fans. Free my Arsenal fans from the new season syndrome, bro. Noni is a tool in the toolbox. He can play left and right. No, man. I like Noni. I like your attitude and stuff, but come on, man. We're not going to get out the hood with this shit. If it came down to that, I'd rather Wanyeri Dowman play over there because at least there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's apprenticeships being served. There's experience being gained. I ain't trying to hear that, man. Noni, there's occasional starts there. There's cup games there. There's games we might. You'll come off the bench and be a good impactor. No, man. No. And some of you used to sit there and say, "Oh my God, I can't." There's some we all get things wrong here, but some of you, I won't forgive some of you last season when you're saying put Saka to the right for Noni. Fair play, lads. Fair play, lads. Fair play. I missed the super chat. Let me scroll up. Apologies if I have. I can't see anything. No disrespect. Appreciate you for the super chat, though. I apologize. What's this? My YouTube settings are fucked. Why is it? Category entertainment. Oh, that's weird. Let's put that to sports. And then we're back. Where is it? Oh, sorry, my boy. Sorry, I can see it on the YouTube community tab. I can't see it on StreamYard. Right 6, Eze or in brackets or MLS left 8, Bruno right 8. Bro, we got options. Arteta, these options arouse my imagination. They're orgasmic midfields that we could put out there. You've got the ingredients, bro. Like I said, can you cook the curry goat now? You've got everything you need. You've got every ingredient. Midfield is just how you're going to cook. Defense, I think we're sweet. Again, caveat, we need to get additions in. I honestly think attack is a twofold. I don't think we need to improve our attack as much as I even give it credit for because we did get 121 goals. But there are some players that need to, according to the game state, they can't be out there. Some players need to give us a proper run of fitness. Some players we're asking to dig a hole with a toothpick. And simply put, and again, a lot of it is down to tactics and evolving in that regards. Left wing is clearly recruitment in it. Big up Zolis. You're included but excluded because you tie on the recruitment. We need a difference maker. And the Vinicius thing didn't bang. The Rodgers thing didn't bang. Don't know where we go from here, innit? Like, this is why Arteta and the recruitment team earned the big bucks. As I said earlier, you look around, there's no Alexis Sanchez at Udinese, Griezmann at Sociedad. There's none of these guys. Eden Hazard at Lille. You need to make it work, man. But it's changed my life. I have a feeling next season Arteta will overthink it. Unpopular opinion, he needs to. You're a manager. You have to overthink it. It's your job. We need Mika Götze and Alvarez. It looks like Mika Götze is heading over to PSG. It's not a personal issue. It's a coaching issue. Why do all our players ball at the World Cup? Became the handbrake. Because the handbrake, I think you mean, was off. They played with freedom. Now you have all forgotten the issues in the Betis game and it's no problem at all. I don't think that's the case. It's just you can compartmentalize things. Physically the strongest midfield. Fire big up yourself, as the man has said, hit the like button. No more Havertz in midfield. Experiment with him up top. I don't rule out things, man. I've seen stranger things. Manny, appreciate you. Is there a possibility playing Bruno, Rice, Odegaard, and Eze in midfield with Saka and Havertz / Gyökeres? The midfield would not lose the ball. We've got plenty of combinations, man. I tried Saka there this season with Dowman and Noni playing right wing. I can't lie, I don't mind Saka centrally if you're going to play Dowman. For me, personally, if it's not Saka right wing, I'm only really trying to hear Dowman. Obviously, if Wanyeri's an option there, then he's an option. Realistically, Noni's ahead of him in the pecking order, innit? So, yeah, man. Maybe Bruno can unlock 2022 Martinelli. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not here for none of this. PSG signed Suzuki. We signed Millier. Boy, I've seen some highlights of this Mika brother from Ajax. He looks to be the truth. What do you think? Good player, but he's going PSG, so that's where it stops. I ain't forgiving those who said Saka should vacate the 7 for Vinny, who didn't come. You got to watch your homies in this life, man. We're going for Rodrigo. You reckon he's not playing until 2027? So maybe that's the saga of 2027 summer. But really? And to be fair, psychologically, there is logic with just bringing him in anyways. But psychologically, if you're Rodrigo, you're nursing your ACL. Like, think about it. Like, you're on that mental road to recovery. You're on that road to recovery. You might be overthinking in that you've got a new manager in Jose Mourinho. There's new dynamics. Are you really gonna, if the club accepts the bid, then that's, and we did bid, then that's one thing. Are you gonna pack up your clothes and your stuff and your whole life that you've been at since in Europe since 18 and go, as much as Arsenal do right by him, but you're going to go to another country with your wife where your friends and family might not be there. It's a whole nother life aspect. So for a variety of reasons, Rodrigo this summer's a myth. Had Rodrigo have been fit, we might have had another saga. It might have been, no, there's no Vinicius. Now it's Rodrigo and all of these kind of things. But it's a myth, man. Yeah, bro, that Betis game was beyond bad. I hope we pick ourselves up and win that Dortmund game and the Community Shield as well. Amen. Noni is always sharp in training. Bro, I like that about Noni. You're always sharp in training. I think your attitude's in the right place. I think your heart's in the right place. Like Martinelli, when I accept you as a tool in a toolbox and utilize you appropriately, that's it. Like, you're cool. What I would say is, respectfully to Noni, Arteta, that needs to be the last one of them kind of signings now. By the way, I'm not being negative. I think our midfield is complete. Just sort the left wing and right back position. Fair play. Best Bruno in the league. Run it. Bruno fits in easily, knows the league, and speaks Spanish. PSG are playing Man United at 4 p.m. I think when Yeri's done with Arteta, man, he's not happy playing for Arteta, then he's got to leave if that's the case. What's your thoughts on Romero? Ironically, if he signed for Arsenal, I wouldn't think it's the end of the world. But I don't think you're worth whatever money and premium. If this, in some make-believe world, if this move could ever happen, they're going to charge you a bit of a tax. They're going to charge you a bit of a tax. And I don't care how much a man gets paid in it, because it's nothing to do with me. But I don't think whatever wages you'd be getting, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you're worth the transfer fee. I just think whatever fees and premiums we could put that elsewhere. For Romero, you wouldn't have to move too far. You know firsthand what Arsenal are on, because, you know, you've seen us smack you lot several times. I think he's one of the most overrated centre-backs in the league, if I'm brutally honest. I think Atletico's a good move. I've never seen somebody rated for just shin kicking and well, Caicedo, to be fair, but shin kicking and just WWE and MMA stuff. I think he's good, but where people talk about best centre-half in the Prem, crazy. Like, even them lot down the road, you sign Ben White, we sign Christian Romero, who's skinning out Batty to sign for the Ops. Benjamin White, who doesn't watch football, but won the Premier League. We got 99 problems. Tottenham Hotspur could never be one of them, man. Fuck all the other 19 teams, man. Because everyone sends for us anyways. If Endrick is loaned to us, I hope we can do the job. DG looks sharp in training, but the match day clips don't show that. To be fair, I'm the opposite. I used to be one of the worst trainers. Bro, he's out until... Aldi, I hear it. He's out until 2027, bro. And if I'm honest, quality is not in question. But with everything we just said about Rodrigo, would you be keen to spend 100 million where you don't know what he's going to look like post-ACL? The only caveat is maybe if you sat there with Real Madrid, maybe you could knock someone off the price, because you're essentially, ironically, buying a damaged good. I don't know, people. An elite winger that can take on players and deliver a proper assist or a killer strike with at least 40 to 50% accuracy. That's a big ask. People need to give Arteta the accolades he deserves. Most fans do not understand football and how it's played, though. DG, what's your thoughts on Real? I went over that. Yildiz would be a good option. Similar to Morgan Rogers, though. I don't think your future is on the out wide. Like, it would be another one where it's probably bad, but I have to be honest, I'm on just signing you and figuring that shit out later. Like, and it's really bad to kick a problem up the road. It's like you keep getting a brown envelope in your house. You know what company it's from, but you're just airing it. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, innit? Sometime you're going to have to face your future. Salute DG in the chat. For me, it's not the playmakers that's the problem. The deep block and how quickly the deep block is created against Arsenal is the problem. We need to find a way, because we've been dealing with that for a number of years. And to be honest with you, can I blame oppositions for being rigid and compact? Why would you want to open up against Arsenal? And that's something that pisses me off as well. Because we've been trying to play football, and people used to say breaking down low blocks. People used to tell us we need to improve defensively. People talking about low blocks. Cool, you can say what you want about Arsenal. I think people have issues that in the Premier League, in what this football has become, this systemic, wingers being narrow, strikers dropping in, inverted, like just compact. We're just one of the best. When you look at it outwardly, the ball is in play less. Ironically, yeah, it's actually ironic that we're talking about Guimaraes and the theme indirectly is Arsenal-Newcastle. Do you remember a few years ago we played Newcastle at the Emirates and they were lauded for the ball on record across 90 minutes, the ball being out of play? People are just vexed that we sat there and said, all right, you know what? we tried to do the nice thing. Now we're just gonna stink out the gaff. And obviously a bit of that added on to that 2022-23 scarred Arteta. I do think people look at that football with rose tints because yes, I want that attacking football back. But a lot of those games were on knife edge. There was a lot of times we will kill a team in the first half. The second half is really just Ramsdale popping off saves. Leicester comes to mind. If football was easy, of course, I would like to marry what we do defensively now and obviously try to go up the gears. Marry that with the 2022-23. We're laughing, innit? But I don't know, man. Either way, I just want to retain this Prem. I think we just need to hold off the rest of the P's and signings till Jan. Just bring Saliba sub. I think we should test the waters for Musiala. I mean, why not try? But boy, I don't know, man. I don't know. Martinelli might do better as a striker and G9 as a winger. In 2026, though. In 2026, we're still screaming this. Yeah, man, Romero's a warrior for Argentina. Better than man, but club football is different, man. We see bare shit players for their countries. They become lit. Romero's just not for me. For me, you need to go Italy. I think Atletico Madrid because you're a shithouser. That will make sense for you. Like, I don't, you'd have to speak to Spurs fans and see how, or Spurs journalists and see what the actual asking price for Romero is, and then probably add 20, 30, 40, 50% on that for Arsenal. That don't make sense. You could argue we'd probably have to pay more than whatever they're asking. Villa are saying for Konza, which is 60 million, which is madness. Not madness, but for me, it's madness. You're going to pay more for that. It don't make sense. Scouts do your job. And what I mean by that is you went and got a Mascara at 21 years of age. I'm just making things up. There could be a 25, 26-year-old, I don't know, playing for Real Valladolid. Nobody knows about. You buy him and he does his job. Because at the end of the day, if you can play football, you can play football, innit? I think, yeah, man, we're not going to get Musiala. We need to find these guys before they become the guys, bro, because the Rodgers thing didn't bang. The Bacola thing looks dark. Vinicius didn't bang. Half of it, like Musiala, fair enough, it was a unique one in that he left Cobham and went Bayern Munich. Elise, everybody could have grabbed, quote unquote, Elise was fairly attainable for everyone. Bayern took a chance. He's gone up the gears. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Endrick, any of them guys, they're playing for 2 minutes in Brazil, they're bought. Why did Real Madrid do that? Because they lost out on Neymar. So there, we need to kind of learn to find them guys before they become the guys, bro. But yeah, man, like Romero would be a shag. I just don't rate Romero like that. I think he'll cost too much peas. I do think you're a decent centre back, but I don't think you're best in the league and all of that. I just don't think you're worth the peas and whatnot. I think we'd be doing you and more. It wouldn't really be mutual. We'd be doing you more of the favor than vice versa. And a part of that would probably be a bit reactionary in the sense of, what we're seeing around Timber and Ben White. Obviously, with Saliba, we can kind of plug and play you in. Beyond that, I get it from a Romero perspective. Like, as much as football fans are tribal and he knows he's a snake if he does that, in theory, well, me and my family don't have to move. We don't have to move too far. We're staying in North London. Like, I can still link my Tottenham brethrens over there. You get where I'm going? This team just won the league. I know about Arteta to a degree. It is just a job. It is just a job for a footballer. Like, he weren't born in Enfield or lived 2 minutes away from White Hart Lane. It's just a job there. But if you're asking me, do I think he's going to be the White Sol Campbell? Nah, man. I big up Chinks for the redirect, man. Big up Chinks. I big up Hand of Arsenal. We need you to go and get your sources. We need to know about a left winger, man. So yeah, big up DG. As I said, Romero's open to Arsenal. Few clubs involved in the race. He simply wants to leave. The price point was appetizing, but you would assume Arsenal would be asked for more. That's interesting. If you say it's appetizing, so that it might not be as mad as I'm thinking. But then, as you said there, we'd have to pay a bit of a premium, in which it don't make sense. Obviously, if we're gonna do it would be nice to boil piss and oh my god, see, food chain, we took your captain and whatnot. But beyond that, it's meaty. For what it's worth, though, for all of his faults, and he probably get yellows and reds. I do think Arsenal fans would fall in love with Romero because it's easy to fall in love with those passion merchants, man. Man said, give another Lily White some colour like Sol Campbell. Rashford saxophones are playing DG. We know how the story goes, innit, man? Big up Hand of Arsenal as well, man. Bless up, DG. Welcome back. Why is our transfer business so slow? Happy we got Bruno. Anybody thought we were getting Vinny? Oh, oh yeah, the kid. Big up yourself, man. So yeah, man. We're not getting Chinisius. DG, what's your thoughts on Ndai? I like him, but he's another one that is the price, man, for me. What is the and again, obviously the tax of football's gone mad. There's not fair valuations, all of that kind of stuff. What is the price for Ndai? That's where it is for me. Somebody, where's that Ryan thing? Somebody asked me a Ryan question. Ryan or Ndai. Well, Ryan's a right winger. I'm naturally going to say Ryan, innit? Because I felt we should have went for him when we spent 50 on Noni, but it's here. It is what it is. I hope and die he's brought. He has some hill advice. Bro, he's a baller. He can get goals, get assists, take man on, showmanship. Another one that I like in that his career hasn't been straightforward, innit? Like, there's a number of players in our squad. Mikel Marino's had road bumps. Rice has had road bumps. Eze's had road bumps. Bruno's had road bumps. Zolis has had road bumps. In Dai, like, it took him a lot to become a footballer, from rising ballers to playing in the Premier League and winning AFCON. Sorry, Moroccans, you know them man won it. I like all that stuff. But it depends on what's the price point. Like, what's the price point that you want? Like, what's the price point that you'd want? And how much, if I had that, how much would I be willing to overpay? I don't know, man. Romero is a radioactive madman. No thanks. We need composure in defense. Yeah, you put it greatly there. I heard Gabriel Heinze rates the squad. Them man are Argentine, innit? Naturally. Leipzig is robbing people with a gun. Why does Arteta want a red card merchant? Yeah, but we don't know, man. Maybe Hand of Arsenal can shed light, but is it a thing Arsenal have interest in him, or Arsenal need a centre half and, you know, they've got a list of targets and then a bit of banter about a cheeky ambition for him? Is it him and his agent? Is it more agent-led? Like, his agents just... Because it's become clear he's leaving Spurs for a minute now, innit? His agents are trying to get him out of there. Even Van der Ven tried it. Clearly, you ain't got interest because now you're going to sign a new deal at Spurs. But yeah, Leipzig moving wicked. I can't hate. I don't get the Romero thing. We don't need a left wing if we get an Alvarez type signing. We might just have to pivot towards a striker, like the stream. So yeah. If Krupi didn't bust his foot, I would have said bring. I'm on it, man. Look, bruv, 200 mil for both Guller and Yildiz. Now is their time. Their World Cup was abysmal. And die baller, but can he take us to the... I don't think he's a level raise at the point of entry, but you never know. I like him. I think it's worth a punt, but evident level raises, unless there's some crazy scout. The only level raises I think we can get now is someone will look back in hindsight as a level raiser. Like when Mohamed Salah signed for Liverpool off the back of a good spell in Italy, but was primarily labelled a Chelsea flop. I don't think there's anyone now that like a blockbuster superstar. Before you've kicked a ball, we're screaming that it's more of a hindsight thing. So I can't say he takes us to the next level, but you never know. Sometimes ballers, there's some men that are ballers. You're around other ballers and better teams. You see different lights at the end of the tunnel. A part of me just wishes that Semenyo was signed in January or he just held off, but it's neither here nor there. Yildiz is the closest you can get to Vinny in terms of profile. Get him to Arsenal. I hear it, man. What would I pay for Ndai? How old is he? 26. What's his contract? How long's he got? What the fuck? $2029. Bearing in mind, Moise, we need one last favor, man. We need one last favor. You done a thing against City. We need one last favor, Makili. One more. His wages are not a thing. Like, you could even double his wages. You could give him over double his wages. Put him on a little 100 bags. If his agent's doing the right thing and he did sign for Arsenal, he needs to be on about 100. 60 odd. The regions of 60. I'm not trying to go past. I'm not even trying to get up to this. I'm not really trying to go past 65 mil. 60. The 60. The early 60s. The early 60s. The early 60s. And maybe offset that apologies with, again, Nelson going, Jesus going. I'm missing somebody else out. But we all know, even though I've missed him out, we all know the players that need to cut in it. The early 60s, man. But then in the modern day, if you accept it is what it is, 70 odd. I'm not sure, man. I'm not, because again, he's a quality player, capable of some clutch things, but how many has he got in the Premier League in the last 2 years? Why am I asking AI? 15 goals. I know stats aren't everything. And again, regardless of who we bring in, there's some evolution Arteta needs to do for the players in attack, in the final third specifically. But and they might have had injuries and there was AFCON and all this kind of stuff. But 6 goals in 32, 9 in 33. It's a 60-odd kind of thing, if I'm honest. This is what I'm saying. Scouts do their job, man. I'm at that point, man. I know I don't really want to hear that because you can't help but get excited to a degree about being linked with Vinny and Bacola and Morgan Rogers, and we won the Prem, and Josh Kroenke's took in Bosie, and we are at that stage where we probably need that stardust. And I always say, and I go back to when we went out against Bayern Munich, that was the language that was coming out via the Athletic and the journalists, the club, and obviously our fans is we need a couple of those players with a bit of stardust and X factor. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's looking a bit mad. Check Alberto Melero from Villarreal, absolute baller. Football Manager legend. He is 70 mil. I don't know, man. I wouldn't cry. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to do all of that. 70-odd million quid. I'd rather scouts just do something, man. But in that would be absolutely amazing in low blocks. Romero's dirty. No need for that. Might as well buy Paredes then. Love for this super chat, my boy. Rodrigo season-long loan plus buy option decide end of the season. But the finances involved because Real Madrid you're gonna have to pay. They're gonna say, "Here, what you can do that." You're gonna have to pay his wages. You're gonna have to give us a loan fee. You're gonna have to agree some indirect buy option. If I'm Rodrigo, I can't be Rodrigo because I always think that man they're just bad loyal to Real Madrid. But even if Real Madrid tell you have to go, bro, you're nursing an injury, bro. Like you're nursing an injury. Like that's gonna fuck you up psychologically. Back in the days, we had Alexis, Hazard, Salah, Sterling, Sane, Mane. Now we have Gakpo and Neto. Wingers really fell off. Rafinha can be that guy. I'm watching highlights next season. Last season, I fell asleep watching actual football dead, but I can't lie, I'm not doing no highlights. We could be the most entertaining or most boring team in ever. I'm always gonna watch Arsenal, mate. I'll be here. Make sure you're here for the reviews, then, man. I got you covered, man. Isn't that even better than Martinelli? I just want to see something new, man. Like, honestly, Martinelli's my son. I love him, but I know what you're good at. I know what you're not good at. I'm past all of that. You can play up front thing. Like, bro, like I keep saying, you're a tool in the toolbox. I see you for what you are. You see in life, sometimes you have to see people for what they are, the good, bad, and the ugly, not their potential, not what you imagine them to be. And for me, once you start getting to 23, 24, 25, that penny ain't dropped. I accept you for what you are. You're a good tool in the toolbox. Other than that, nah, I don't know, man. Hand of Arsenal, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. You know what you do for this platform. I'll catch you here, DG. The watch along is more fun than somebody's dead Gabe Silver. You're a tough man to please, but big up yourself, man. Need to take on Merchant to really attack teams. 2022-23 was amazing, minus no title. Man was saying no to Mika Gotts. Now he wants scouted through it. Hey, social, leave it alone. You wasn't being like that, social at the parade. You weren't being like that. And the only thing I said about Mika Gotts, I said he's a baller. I just don't know for him physically. I'll hold my L. It's like we just saw, as good as Arteta is, he would have passed on Bruno G. And as I've said to you lot before, yeah, the under-20s World Cup a few years ago, there's several players I would have signed, yeah. But if I was Arsenal scout way back then, the one Haaland played at, I would have had to ask you lot to forgive me. Because I could see Haaland was a baller, but the one I really wanted them times was the Lautaro Martinez. So at that time, I would have signed for Arsenal Football Club Lautaro Martinez, and we'd have missed out on Haaland. So you'd have had to forgive me. Can't lie, I take Bacola. I am getting a bit desperate. And Marlon's a good player, man, but I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something, I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something that makes me a bit, I don't know, man. This is what I mean. Like, there's nobody that I'm 100% convinced on anymore. Like, Vinicius, naturally. Rodgers, the only unconvincing I had was I don't think that left wing is going to be your thing on a consistent basis. Now, all these names, they're all good, and I wouldn't mind them, but there's no one I'm like, yeah, go get it done. Like, none of them are like 100% convinced, some more than others. Rashford, Leao, all the names you said. Oyarzabal, you know the wickedest thing is, Oyarzabal and Ferran Torres, yeah. I bet you at any money at some level Arteta's pitched them, because Oyarzabal, I actually think like Arteta would love you up front in this squad, and you do, if we do get to finals, you have a habit of bagging in finals, man. He's quite clutch at some moments, but I don't know, man. After the Vinny link, the ceiling's too high, which is a bit sad because everything's going to look a bit, not really on it now type of thing. 140 mil for Bacola. Someone is smoking hashish. 140 is a mad thing, but so and you know we're not doing that for Bacola. We like, you can see we rate him, but we probably don't rate him that much. But with that being said, though, man, I gotta go and do some live admin, people. So yeah, man, we've covered Bruno. We've had a good old chit chat. Tomorrow, Arsenal are in action. I think we kick off at 2 p.m. UK time. So I'll be live for you guys from about 1:30 p.m. UK time, man. Most importantly, yeah, and I have seen Ferran Torres is signed for PSG. Most importantly, though, man, appreciate you lot for being here. Everyone who smashed the like button, all of you lot on Twitch. Hope you and your loved ones continue in good health. Come on, you gunners, in it. And on that note, One love.
Because you always just got to red light.